Though it's not a requirement for this project, or this exercise rather, I want to explain to you packaging InDesign files. So for the requirement for this project is all you have to do is export a PDFX and submit that to the Dropbox. But I want you just to be really aware of this particular functionality of InDesign. It's really important, and it's called packaging. I just see a little extra thing there that I want to delete. So when you're moving files, or when you're working with files on your computer, any computer, and you want to say move them to another computer and work on them at home and pass them on to school or pass them on to another person or to a printer, you always have to save your file, of course, but you actually absolutely have to package your InDesign file in order to move that. Remember I said that InDesign doesn't embed images, it doesn't embed fonts, but rather it places them, and you create these file links. So when I look at a file link here, for an InDesign project here, we can see this calendar, say my InDesign template folder here. I have a template IDD. No, actually I want to be looking at this one. This is more specific. So I have my InDesign file, and then when I package, it's going to create these links. So every image that I use within whatever that InDesign project, AI files, JPEGs, Photoshop, TIFF files, and audio files, what have you. And it's also going to create copies of the fonts. So this is really important. Whenever you're moving files from one computer to the next or giving them to somebody else, you absolutely have to package an InDesign file, otherwise give them a PDF. But packaging a file, how you do that is once you're finished and you've saved it and then there's no errors, go File, Package, and it's going to give you this little summary. So it's going to warn you if there's any errors. It's going to tell you how many fonts are being used, how many links, if anything, have been modified outside of InDesign and therefore need to be relinked or refound, or it's going to tell you the color space of those images, and if sometimes printers only want CMYK color images as opposed to just RGB. It's going to tell you how many inks are being used. So if you're just using the CMYK inks from your swatches and your color panel over here, you'll be fine. But if you add any Pantones or any other file color type, it's going to warn you there, because when it goes to print, it's actually going to create some issues that the printer has to be aware of. So it's going to give you that little warning. It's going to tell you what fonts are being, because none are embedded, so it's not saying any fonts. It's going to give you the information about the links and images, colors and inks. So we're just using the CMYK process, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Any of the print settings you have, and then once you kind of go through that and make sure that there's no errors, all you have to do is press Package. And I haven't saved it, so it's going to prompt me to save. And this is where you give printing instructions. So if you were sending this to a printer, this is where you would type in some instructions. So I'm going to call this polka dot perfume, and you can put in your contact information there. Spoken Design, your address, your phone number, email, any instructions. Say I had a varnish, or I had a special ink here, or I had some kind of folding, or any kind of special instruction that you want to give to anybody, the printer, anybody else that you're passing on to this on to. I press Continue, and it's just going to create that folder for me. I'm just going to make sure that I don't have another folder with the same name. Nope. So I want to copy, make sure you have check copy fonts, copy linked graphics, and then the updated links, and that's all you have to do. And package. It's going to give you this warning that you're not allowed to fonts that are copyrighted. And I could probably just say don't show again, because I know that. And it's going to process this for me. So when I go to my there we are, to my desktop, I can see that it's created this folder, and within that I have all the fonts that are being used, of all the links. So anyone now, if I pass this off to anybody and they open this perfume InDesign file, they must upload the fonts to their computer to make it work properly, and they must make sure that the links are connecting properly. So just beware that whenever you're passing off image or InDesign files to anybody else, or moving them from one computer to another, you absolutely have to package this InDesign. You cannot just give somebody this particular file, this InDesign file, and if you were passing this using or putting it on 2 different computers, you absolutely cannot just copy and paste the InDesign file. You must package it, and just to be really safe and sure, it's also a good idea to compress it. So on the Mac, it's a right click and you compress it, and this little zipped file is actually the safest way to move files, InDesign folders, from one computer to another or to another person. Or the other option is just to make a PDF, and that's the only thing that will be required for this